and then I get the fucking message that says there's an outage in your area.
Are you jealous?
See, I said, this is what I don't know. Was everyone out in your area, or was this just your house?
No, it must have been significant for them to do that. No, I'm pretty sure everybody in the area was. There were some poles up by the road that they were working on last night. So it must have been fairly significant. Well, when you're a preferred Spectrum customer like I am, you get. Oh, this is funny. I just got a notification from the Comedy Zone in Greensboro that David Koechner, who was in the movie Anchorman, he's also sort of a semi-regular on The Office. He's going to be appearing soon. I believe he got busted for a DUI or a DWI, whatever they call it in California, like on Christmas Day or New Year's. He just got busted. Nobody got hurt, though. And I would just like to point out, if you're going to start with me about the guy from the Raiders getting another DUI, we're doing better. Nobody died this time. Okay? We're making great strides.
Wait, did he get another one?
Yeah, there was a guy, a rookie who got busted, and I looked up the address. It said Metro responded to 35000 South Las Vegas Boulevard. I believe that's Caesars. The car was coming out of the parking garage onto the exit ramp, and he's asleep behind the wheel. So they were, it's a dead giveaway, really, that you're drunk or you're overdosed. They got him. But again, I would just like to point out nobody died this time. So real strides for your Las Vegas Raiders in adjusting to life in Vegas.
Yeah, that's maybe they ought to just not allow them to live there and just fly in for the games.
People kept telling me they should have they can't handle life. They can handle life there. You can do shit in Oakland at 4:00 in the morning. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, now I don't know. I'm not sure.
All right, we're ready.
I'm ready.
Hey, it's the Brad and Britt cast. Glad you're with us here. Sorry about the technical difficulties. So this is our first one for the year. First one was canceled, and of course, as always, it's sunspots. Sunspots knock out all kinds of transmissions. Right? Remember they used to say that in the old radio days. What's the sunspots?
It's always what it was. I think I figured this out though. I think that I figured out I heard Paula Poundstone say one time that when you've reached maturity is when you stop fighting sleep, right? That's how you know that a child has reached maturity. I think you've reached maturity when you start hating snow. Like when you're a kid, you love snow, and when you're an adult, it's it's going to snow again. Good. I think that's the height of maturity is when you start hating snow. To me, I could be wrong about this.
I saw now as we speak. Apparently, there are people. Couple 100 miles north of us who've been stuck on I-95. You know that stretch between Richmond and Washington when you're driving up 95, which is kind of a treacherous, obnoxious stretch anyway. It's just and I guess they got about a foot of snow suddenly there in Frederick, and the people are all just sitting there
on 95.
On 95, yeah. Whoa.
If you had somebody that you hated who had done something bad to you in your life, you might wish that upon them. You might wish that they would be stuck in a stupid-ass snowstorm on I-95 somewhere in awful Virginia. Where would you like to start, sir? Where would you like to start 2022 on the Brad and Britt cast?
Well, let me. Would you like to start with something completely different? And
of course,
what I'd like to do is. And we don't normally do this. I'd like to read a column, but you have 100% sway to keep interrupting and answering because it's so irritating.
This is perfect for me. How can I resist that?
Right. I think you're going to like it because it's one of your pet subjects
Oh,
uh,
good.
that's come up. Let me see if I can make sure this sucker will appear at the right time. Because you know how it is. You get something up here and then it disappears, and then
And there's 7
the computer
pop-ups, and
just
then
does this to you. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, and if it doesn't, we'll just go on to something else. I'll tell you what. Let's go on to something else because I can't depend on this to do it. All right.
You help me figure this out. Is it good that 4.5 million people quit their jobs in November or not? That's the latest jobs report that just came out. A record 4.5 million people said take this job and shove it. I'm Johnny Paycheck, as written by that David Allen Coe guy. What do you find this to be good or bad for the economy, Brad?
I don't know. I don't
I don't
know.
either.
I don't know how you isolate that and just say automatically it's bad because clearly a lot of people who would do that can't afford to do it. Affirmatively, they can't afford to do it. They quit, right? They weren't fired.
Right.
So maybe they have the means, but on the other hand, businesses are dying for people to work and they're dying for people to, fill positions that are open. You can see the problems that everyone has, and from airlines on down, why they cancel thousands of flights because a lot of workers are out with COVID and they don't have enough workers to begin with. So I you know what? That's too simplistic. Is this good or is this bad?
I always like to boil it down, whether it's good or bad. I know that there are certain people who, oh my God, this is terrible, and we're raising a nation of pussies, and you're supposed to stay at a job that you hate, and blah blah, all that shit. And then there's a bunch of people who would say, well, I think that's a good idea, that you don't want somebody being miserable in a job that they don't like. They're probably not going to be good at it, so it's probably a good thing that these people are moving on and deciding to get other jobs or deciding to start their own businesses or whatever they're doing. I mean, so I think it's going to be interpreted in different ways.
Yeah. Well, see that's why I said there is no correct answer on that. All right. I'll give you some choices here. Ratings, COVID, or pizza in the news. Ratings, COVID, or pizza.
Well, let's start with pizza because I like pizza.
All right. Let's see. Story number 1 here. Teen sues school district for $13.5 million over alleged pizza incident. It's not really alleged.
Alleged pizza incident.
This happened in Ohio.
Oh boy.
A kid who was a student at a school there. He's a Hebrew Israelite.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know exactly what that means, except they are prohibited from eating pork. I guess these are Orthodox Jews. All right. 18 years old. His initials are KW. He wants $13.5 million in damages. Canton, Ohio, Canton City School District. They say that as punishment for missing a weights session, WEIGHTS, weights session, over a shoulder injury, the then 17-year-old's football coaches forced him to eat the pepperoni pizza as his teammates ran drills. He was ultimately allowed to remove the pepperoni, but the residue remained. You just never could get all the pepperoni off. There's that grease.
Grease, yeah. Unless you try to dab it with the little. Some people do that. You can't do it. Yeah.
They allege that the coach's anti-Semitic and shameful behavior caused the teen substantial permanent injury. The Cleveland Jewish News reports that the teen is going to need counseling for the rest of his life due to the experience. The Washington Post reports the kid ended up switching to a school more than 100 miles away from Canton for his well-being. 6 of the former coaches have also sued for defamation because they say the story is not what it seems. What was it, a sausage pizza, not pepperoni?
Yeah. It's not what he's talking about there.
They allege that the kid had been displaying a poor attitude and reduced effort. I can't read worth shit. And communicated to them that he didn't feel like attending the weights workout.
So your punishment is we're gonna force feed you pizza.
Yeah. They say they wanted to demonstrate to him that it's easy to be selfish behind people's backs, but not so easy when others are watching. Hence, they instructed him to eat the pizza in front of the team. Channel 3 in Cleveland, WKYC, formerly KYW for you old timers,
Really?
reports that the other players had run laps for 20 minutes while holding a 45-pound weight while the team sat in the center of the gym and consumed the pizza. Okay. As for the suit, they say they were unaware of his beliefs at the time. He thanked them for the lesson after he consumed the pizza.
Thank you for the lesson. That was a delicious lesson.
Yes. Hit me more. They also say he didn't actually consume pork residue as he removed both the pepperoni and the cheese. Wait a minute. So now you're just left with tomato sauce.
So with sauce and crust?
See, now, when I first started to read it, I thought, oh, this is going to be another Muslim story where they made the Muslim eat pork. But this time, we've got a Jew.
And I think the only thing he's got to complain on here is that they overcarbed him. I was trying to cut carbs, and they made me eat carbs, basically, is what happened.
Yeah.
The only thing I found on Hebrew Israelites is there's a group of people called Black Hebrew Israelites, and they believe they are the true descendants of the ancient Israelites.
Oh.
That's the only thing I could find.
You know what? You're right. The Black Hebrews. I'm familiar with that group.
Okay.
So the only thing missing, at least the version I don't see racism in here.
There's a racial component to this.
But you got to assume
that
that's going to come up too. Hey, it's a twofer.
It's a
religion
twofer.
And race. Yeah, you don't get that all that often.
$12.5 million bucks?
Yeah.
That's what they want. $12.5 million bucks on this one?
All right, pizza story number 2. Little Caesars throws in the towel on the $5 pizza, the one that you can just pick up. You don't have to order. It's right there ready for you to go. And they're adding 55 cents to it. So it's going to be $5.55. But they do say that they're adding 1/3 more pepperoni, 33% more pepperoni. And that's the way it's going to stay. Now, to be fair, the price of the pizza has been $5 for, I believe, about 25 years.
Right. And then what happened? Joe Biden assumed office. This is another one you can blame on Brandon right here.
Right. Prices were 100% stable for 25 years until, about 6 months ago when Biden raised prices?
Thank you, Brandon. Good job, Brandon.
Right. And they say the rise is going to be permanent. Of course it is. And it'll be just like the price of gasoline. If the price of cheese, flour, tomatoes, pepperoni all dropped by 80%, the price of the pizza would still stay the same, right? Isn't that how it works? It never goes down. It always goes up, which is a great little entry point to the next story, which is having to do with ratings.
Okay.
And we're going to have to move into the how dumb are Americans category here. Because
I've tried for many years to try to get you to bite on the idea that people are dumber today than they were like 50 years ago. And you always demur. You always kind of like, I don't know. I think people are dumber now than they used to be. I'm sorry. I just feel that way.
Yeah. 50. This is a CNBC Change Research poll. 56% of voters now say they disapprove of the job overall, right? So that puts his approval rating at 44%, down another couple ticks from September. And then they started to ask questions about the economy.
This will make you crazy.
72% disapprove of his handling of the price of everyday goods. Now, of course, the premise of the question is so beyond stupidity. Joe Biden is not handling the price of everyday goods correctly because they're higher. So he obviously is. He decided that
it's completely his fault. It's totally his fault.
Right. 66% disapprove of his efforts to help their wallets. Then they start to ask questions about the stock market because it's CNBC, right?
Right.
How are you handling the stock market, President Biden? Well, 44% say they strongly, again, the premise is just idiotic.
I know, because the president handles the stock market. He calls up every day and goes, "You motherfuckers better go up," and he slams the phone down. Isn't that what he does?
44% said they strongly or somewhat approve. 56% somewhat or strongly disapprove. But it gets dumber than that.
Okay.
Because a greater percentage of respondents say they feel the stock market is doing worse than it was a year ago, who said then it was doing better. So remember, that's right at the time that Biden had taken office, against the recommendation of Donald Trump, who said, if you elect Biden, the stock market's going to zero.
Yeah,
it's going to zero.
Zero.
So that stuck with a lot of people. And you got to believe that most of the people, almost all the people who say Biden is doing a shitty job with the stock market aren't in the stock market. Because if you are, that 2021 was a historically great year. By the way, Joe Biden didn't handle that to get it that way. It just it happened.
No, he called him on the phone and he started cussing him out. I mean, and that's why they went up. I mean, I don't understand how you don't get that. No, I'm a financial genius, as you know, and I make moves that no one else does. And I had my retirement account. It's in this thing called S&P Index. It basically just indexes the Standard & Poor 500, right?
Yeah,
I think I was up. I think I was no. This is a genius move that nobody else can make. Nobody else can do this because I'm so much smarter than everybody else. I think I was up 26% in 2021. I believe it was up about 26%. Yeah. So it's really it's not that tough, and it's like, well, I guess that to me that's good. Now, is that good or bad?
You're actually Exhibit A, perfect example. You're just in the market. You're not. You're not trading crypto shit. You're not trading meme stocks. You're not sitting there. You're not doing shit.
I did the most basic fucking thing that anybody could ever do. You just index the S&P 500 and you just sit back.
There's absolutely a fantastic case to be made for that. You're not going to hear me not for 1 second. But wait, Biden's inability to garner credit for one of the stock market's best years in living memory is symptomatic of a larger problem for Democrats in 2022. The party can't seem to convince voters that things are better than they were 12 months ago. And of course, all you need to know is that if the price of gasoline that you see every day when you're driving around is higher than it was a month ago or 6 months ago, then Biden's a fuck up. That's all you need to know. And you have a network and you have a conservative media will just drill that and pound that and go with it on and on and on. And the price of used cars is way up. Why? Because Joe Biden made a call to every used car dealer and said, jack up the prices of used cars. And then he called the semiconductor companies and said, you know what? Slow down your production. And tell the car companies to pound salt. Don't make as many new cars.
Why did he do that? Why is he doing that? Is it because he hates America and he wants us to fail?
He does hate America. And when Biden put up that blockade around our ports, not allowing large container ships.
Well, the weird part was when he stationed like the Secret Service, and when they started trying to unload the boxes, they would just shoot at them. They would shoot at the workers on those container ships.
Whatever
it was. Right. I thought that was a little.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
It really is. It really is very stupid. It really does kind of expose a lot of stupidity for the American people. That shit is. That you're right. And also, but the premise of the questions, as you pointed out, are tremendously stupid.
They're leading. They're leading questions. You're leading the witness, sir.
To me, it's like they're trying to normalize the idea that when the stock market would go up and Donald Trump would put those tweets out claiming credit for it, thank you, you're welcome, and shit like that. That's normalizing that. They're like, why won't Biden do that? Why doesn't Biden get on Twitter every day when the stock market is up and talk about how great it is and how he did it? Why? And no, you're an asshole for doing that. That was the wrong thing to do, and you suck for doing it.
Well, let me tell you really why he doesn't do that, or people even in his administration don't do that, why the Treasury Secretary doesn't do it, or someone else. or sympathetic folks in the media don't do that, because the base of the Democratic Party is not generally a stock owning segment of America.
Right.
It's a lot of poor people. It's a lot of minorities. It's a lot of folks who are not in the mainstream of American economic life as you and I, we the elites, know it. Now, that's also true of the Republican Party. If you think that all the white trash out there that loves Donald Trump are all indexing their 401ks brilliantly like you are, you're wrong. They're not in it either. But that doesn't matter, because remember, they're of the aspirational class of, I saw Donald Trump on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. I want to be like that. I'm going to vote for him. Okay. And if he gets to brag about the stock market, we're going to give him that.
You're
that's
right.
And that's why Biden, he couldn't take credit for that if he wanted to.
Right.
And he shouldn't, but he probably needs to, but he can't. So
would that actually appeal to some Republican and independent voters if he actually did shit like that? Would that actually tick him up a couple of points?
No, the very simple answer, and you know how I know this is true, because one of our longtime super fan posters on Facebook and all around good guy, Wade McCarthy, who loves to just post shit that's annoying and just contrary to fact all the time.
He's so good.
Right, all the time. I put up that chart the other day, and you posted an article that contained it, that had the stock market returns for every president in their first year going back to Roosevelt.
Yeah.
And it's almost without exception the first year of any Democratic presidential administration way better than any Republican administration. Trump happened to have had a good first year 4 years ago, but sadly, Joe Biden eclipsed that by about 2 points, which again is statistically not important, but it points out this myth that, my God, we have to have Republicans. They know business, and therefore companies will do better and stock prices will go up and I'll get richer. We just have Republicans in there. So anyway, Wade jumps in there and says, well, wait a minute. Don't presidents have to work with a budget that's created in the previous year by the previous president? Mm-hmm. The premise being, and I know he doesn't really believe this, he just says it, but it's the kind of thing that could be argued and would be argued if Joe Biden ever dared to get out there and say that he's done good things for the economy in terms of financial markets. They would immediately jump in there and say, yeah, because Donald Trump set the table for Joe Biden and he sat back the first year and reaped the rewards. They would say that.
Well,
they
but then
absolutely say
then do you get to say that Barack Obama set the table for Donald Trump in his first year and Donald Trump's first year was great? You don't get to say that.
No, of course you don't. Are you nuts? No, because remember, Barack Obama was the son of a black Marxist who snuck into the country.
I still love it.
Banged a white woman. She squeezed out the baby, and he was never to be heard from. It. I mean, of course not.
But the baby was born. The baby was born in Kenya, as we all know. The baby was not born anywhere near the United States. Right. It's
so. No, your point is perfect, because there is no amount of inconsistency and hypocrisy that cannot be injected into any argument, really, by anybody at any time. I get that, but for subjects like this, it's unending. It would be unending, and the Democratic Party is caught because a lot of their constituency is not poor people, minorities. It's coastal elite people like us. Okay.
Yeah, coastal elites.
And we count too. And we're good for, and we like good financial markets too, but we can't say it. It's not polite to say it.
It's helpful. If I'd like to retire one day, it's very helpful to me. It's extremely helpful to me.
Well, let me boil it down to even more simplistic slop. Ready? AOC doesn't give a shit about the stock market. How dare you brag about that, sir? Is what she would say that.
I suppose. Yeah. I mean,
with Bernie Sanders, right? So,
but you're left with that take, AOC doesn't give a shit about the stock market, and the Donald Trump side, which is the stock market is the economy. It's everything. It's the only thing that matters, right?
Yeah, right. By the way, there's nothing in between those. You're right. There's just nothing in between. It's either everything or don't bring it up. It's nothing. Yeah.
Again, not to do some media bashing, but sometimes that's how they boil it down. It's either like stock market, it's like great, or it's like fuck it, it doesn't. Those are the two most extreme takes of all. But this coddling to the idea that Joe Biden should be like Donald Trump and get out there every day and have a 5:00 pep rally every time the S&P 500 is up or whatever. The normalizing of that to me is like the biggest joke of all. This particular poll.
Well, last year, I believe I believe it's 70. I don't think it was 60. I think it ended up being 70. 70 days in 2021, the S&P 500 broke its all-time record.
Jeez,
right?
Jeez.
So that's almost 25% of the days of the year. It was climbing. So how you get people in a poll to say that during that year, Joe Biden really did a kind of a shitty job with the stock market, which he doesn't do it anyway, but they asked the question, so I have to give an answer.
Well, I'm paying $3.25 for gas, so the guy sucks, right?
Yes, he sucks. Yeah. All right, here we go. 10 things that we don't ever want to hear again. These folks up at Lake Superior State University. That's is that in Upper Michigan, I think?
I think that's correct.
Yeah, Michigan. They put out this list, and here we go. Ready? I'll go from 10 to 1. 10, supply chain. You're on mute. New normal. Deep dive. Circle back. Asking for a friend. That being said, at the end of the day, no worries. And the number one phrase that should be stricken from the language forever. Wait, what?
Wait, what needs to be stricken from the record? Well,
there you go.
I don't see it happening. You had a COVID story that you stories that you wish to relate to us on your list.
Well, we got a couple of them here.
Yeah.
Story number one is very unpleasant. We finally hit 1 million new reported cases in one day.
Yeah.
Yesterday. That's never happened before. And of course, 1 million reported cases, that could be 1.5 million, 2 million. It could be 5 million, because if you have the little home test, we've got 2 of them here. So that's 4 tests, right? There's 2 in each box. If we started to feel bad, either of us, and then we took the test, but we didn't get any more symptoms, would I automatically report that? I guess I might, because I'm a good citizen and I'm connected up on the phone. I've got that thing on my phone. I could.
The Bluetooth thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it, but most people don't do that. So you figure the number is way higher. But the amazing thing is, the previous record was just 4 days ago, and it was 585,000. So, according to my calculations, that's almost doubling in 4 days. That's a lot.
Well, we've established previously that the big number, the sexy number of positives, isn't the thing to watch here. The thing to watch is hospitalizations and death. That's what you need to really look at.
Well, and of course the problem is there are so many people. In other words, that denominator is getting so gigantic. Okay, that even if the numerator stays proportionally small or gets a little bit, it's going to get bigger. It has to get bigger because of the percentages. And this afternoon, the Charlotte Observer, on behalf of all of us here in North Carolina, is going with the story that the hospital systems there are just about at the breaking point. And there's a front pager in our local paper in our part of the world essentially saying they're getting pretty close. The headline, COVID spike is pushing the boundaries of what hospitals can handle. That's
it's happening everywhere.
Infectious disease expert Dr. David Priest of Novant Health. The cases are going up. And what bothers me, we'll do a little media criticism while we're reading this. If you see the story, you'll notice this one does not include what percentage of all the people who are in the hospital right now, adults, are unvaccinated. And we know it's still off. It's
90+%. It's 90. It's probably around 90. I know, they had, I had that statistic before we left, before our little break there.
That never changes. It doesn't change.
Governor Redwine up in Ohio said it was 92.5% of the people in Ohio that were hospitalized were unvaccinated.
It's Governor Mike DeWine, not Governor Redwine.
Well, whatever. He changed his name.
His brother, Governor Whitewine, and his sister Chardonnay.
they're fine people. No, but it's got to be well over 90%. Yes, and the same is true. I don't care what municipality you go to in America, they're stuffed. They don't have room for you. They can't say that. They can't come out and say we don't have, but they don't. The ICU beds are full. But people, I don't know. We seem to be singing the same tune over and over again to people who don't want to hear what we have to sing. But yeah, that's what's happening across America, is that those are the deals. That it's very sad what's going on
among the kids, among the children, and their numbers are going way up, getting admitted to hospitals too. Almost every one of them that ends up in the hospital is not vaccinated. And of course, anyone under 5 that's a kid is not vaccinated because they're not allowed to get it yet. But I'm talking about the kids between 5 and 18. These are unvaccinated kids. And, we definitely saw this one coming a year ago when the vaccine first came out. I know I memed this one, which is, if you think it's bad how many people in this country refuse to get vaccinated, and that was early on, I said, just wait until they push this habit upon their kids and don't allow them. And by the way, I think I undersold that. It's worse, because I think the total number of kids in the younger age groups is like 15% are vaccinated. It's terrible.
No,
it's just terrible because, I can't allow my kid to be
there's a
lab experiment. Can't do it. Yeah.
There's a rumor, in our county that the mask mandates may be coming back. Now, I don't know if you've been following this story.
I did.
Our county commissioners have scheduled an emergency meeting in 9 days to figure out exactly what they're going to do about the masks.
It's, you know what, this is so emblematic.
In 9 days. I mean, it's
9 days from now. Think about what things were like 9 days ago.
Exactly.
Okay? Now here we are, and think what things will probably be like 9 days ahead. If you go by what every expert that I've seen and read over the last few days has said, we're on the uphill climb in terms of numbers and spread through most of January. And then if things follow the pattern in South Africa and Israel and places like that, it will fall off quickly, and we might actually have a pretty good February, so that Tom Brady doesn't have to worry when he's trying to win another Super Bowl.
That is my hope, and my hope and my aspiration is that Tom Brady is given a clear path.
Right, but my point here is that when about 6 weeks ago they lifted where we live the mandate, so that businesses could at least have giant signs in their windows saying you got to have a mask to come in here, as per the county of Guilford or the city of Greensboro.
Right.
And most people abided by that.
That's right.
Some people were assholes, but most people abided by it.
Correct.
Then about a month ago, they took that away,
just
as the Omicron was starting to get out of the gate. They already decided to take it away, and they couldn't reverse it before they took it away. Right. So now everywhere you go, doesn't matter what business it is, doesn't matter where it is, 95% of people are not wearing masks. Am I lying about that? Am I wrong about that?
It's a lot. It's a lot of people. It's a scary amount of people that are like wandering around your local grocery store that are unmasked, like it's cool.
Right. So this is the peak moment of spread. what is going on in the Northeast has started to filter down to the South. And in every story I read about the virus, the Omicron is rapidly spreading through the Southeast. They go Georgia, Florida, Alabama, and they don't mention North. Believe me, it's here. It's going on. And now we have a system of government.
Yeah.
That at this moment, Britt, my house is on fire. Can you get me the fire department here in 8 to 10 days? Can you arrange for that?
Are you good for it's like the cable guy. Are you good for next Thursday between noon and 6? We can maybe have somebody out there to put that fire out then. Is somebody going to be at home? No, it's I mean, honestly.
And by the way, just to add a little bit more, when you do see people wearing masks.
Yeah.
And again, nobody pays attention to anything. Nobody listens to the news. Nobody really reads it. They don't. Nobody fucking pays attention to anything in this country except the fact that the final season of This Is Us is tonight on NBC. Tonight. Okay, that's more important. We know that. Oh, and by the way, did you see Fallon and Seth Meyers are now both testing positive?
Oh, Jesus.
Right. Now, I'm hoping that one of the long haul side effects, at least for Jimmy Fallon, is that he develops a lifetime sense of humor and is funny the rest of his life. I hope that.
Good luck.
You see what I did there?
I think you were about to lecture us on the N95 masks, though, aren't you?
Right. The masks you see people wear, they're still wearing the fucking cloth masks that we did on our sewing machines 9 months ago when it was quaint and cute and funny.
All right.
Right? And they are apparently useless against the Omicron because it's much more virulent and it's a different animal, even though it's not an animal. So you really do need to be wearing the N95 masks, which have been, they're widely available. They're not hard to get. They cost money. They're not free. They're not like those cheap, blue tissue paper things that you put over your face. Those are useless.
When you show up at like Food Lion or Walmart and you don't have one, that's what they give you, is that cheap paper thin.
Which, by the way, it's better than nothing. And
could I have 6 of them? Could I stack them?
You should easily put 2 or 3 on. You're right. Yeah. But you should have the N95. So this country, just to generalize, sucks. We're just idiots. Okay.
Just to generalize. Oh, I've got another one for your Joe Biden poll. Do you approve of how Joe Biden is handling the airlines? That's another great question that CNBC should ask. That's another one. Because that's what he does. He handles them. As we approach the 1-year anniversary of January 6th, several pieces of news about this one. This one kind of surprised me a little bit. This is Liz Cheney says that Donald Trump sat in the White House dining room and watched the Capitol riot unfold on TV instead of taking immediate action to stop the violence. I don't think that's breaking news at all, is it? I think even if you went to Donald Trump, he would say, that's what I did. I mean, I don't know if that's shocking news to America and she's trying to put that story out there so that some people will go, my God, I can't believe. If that is news to you, you are an idiot. If somehow, some way that you're news.
That's not the point. No, of course it's we've known that. We've all known that. But because of the standard of proof that you need, certainly in a court of law or in an investigation at this level, you have to be saying it can't just be the Wall Street Journal reported this. BuzzFeed says it can't be that. We know, by the way, we know it's true. And we know that the Wall Street Journal stories about this have all turned out to be true. And so is everything else. But that's not the point. It has to come. And by the way, this was known during the second impeachment, right?
Of course it was.
Which by the way, should have occurred about a day after January 6th last year. It took them, they waited too long to do that.
I'd like to know what the counter argument would be from the pro-Trump. No. He was reading briefs and he was talking to people about stuff as we go through the transition. He wasn't at all sitting in the dining room eating Cheetos, watching this thing as though he was watching, the Rose Bowl. Are they really? Is anybody going to really try to make that argument? No. He was meeting with his advisors and didn't have time for television.
But you have to separate the knowledge that you have or I have or that folks watching us or listening to us have about this, which is these are just facts at this point.
Right.
Trump fiddled while Rome burned. And not only did he fiddle, he enjoyed it. He probably had DoorDash bring him, 9 different McDonald's meals so that he could be fat and happy while he was watching this. And Ivanka came running in a couple times and said, "Daddy, you have to stop this."
There's that one.
Don Jr. is texting Mark Meadows, telling Meadows to tell him to go in there and fucking stop. I mean, this is, and here's the point. And Liz Cheney said this, and she's been really good about laying out the kind of information that if you were on the side of we did it, we're guilty, we're fucked, the way she's saying it in public lets every one of them know that they've got the receipts, they've got the witnesses, they've got the testimony, and it's already in the book. And the preponderance of evidence and information that's provided by 300 people is way more important than the headlines that are made by Mark Meadows and Steve Bannon, who won't obey the subpoena. Mm-hmm. They've already got all the info that they need. Now, to defend Trump, if you live in the bubble and you haven't seen the video of January 6th, and I believe that if you watch Fox, you never see the video that you and I have seen. You will not see those 3-hour compilations that were put out at various points in the last year by the New York Times, by the New Yorker, by every legitimate news organization you can imagine. Everybody did a great job of editing what they had because there are thousands of hours of this shit, but it's incontrovertible evidence. But Britt, in right-wing world, they have not seen this. They do not see it. And I was watching the other day, I think this was on Fox News Sunday, right? And I can't remember who the guest was. It was one of the talking heads that they have on. And you know how they'll split the screen, and while the person is talking, they'll show the same 12 pictures over and over again
loop that
of an
shit,
event.
Yeah.
So they are talking about January 6th, but the pictures that they're showing are not the vividly violent ones. They're just, people walking into the building, people looking around.
So no Confederate flags, for example?
No. So even when they purport to pretend to be addressing the issue, we talk about it on Fox. We cover it just like everybody else does. We just happen to give both sides of it. And of course, there's no both sides of this.
No,
but
not.
If you sanitize it and you pull out the old Joseph Stalin playbook of erasure of images that you don't want people to see, and they never change the channel, this is what you get. And there was a discussion, a couple of them that I saw yesterday. So what's Donald Trump going to do at his quote unquote press conference?
Yeah, Jesus.
And nobody went so far as to say what I said, which is it isn't going to be a press conference. But everybody did agree that Trump is just going to get up there and lie his ass off. And the only question is, what kind of coverage does that merit? And I think it's consensus that no one should take that live. No one should run that. Apparently, he wants to do it at 5 p.m.
Well, do you think that's a Fox News conundrum as to whether they're going to carry that or not? Or do you think that's an easy no for Fox News?
It seems like it's an easy one for them to say yes, but it also seems like an easy one for them to say no. And here's why. Because they've set a precedent in the past a couple of times where the live rallies that he's done in the past year, they have not carried. They have given themselves a slight opening to not be led by this. And of course, they can always say, yeah, we're running it live on Fox Nation or whatever the fuck their streaming thing is.
Yeah, that would be pretty easy on their website.
They can pull that shit. And then Trump would get, 1/50th of the live viewership that he so craves. It will be carried on the other two right-wing pieces of shit, One American Network and Newsmax. But again, the total audience of those is not going to be anything of the sort. And in a way, this is kind of a good thing because the contrast is important. The contrast between the solemnity of what will be going on is crucial, and it will be on display on January 6th, a couple of days from now, when they do the commemoration. And I think we asked this the week before, or maybe I asked it on Facebook. What do Republican lawmakers do? Do they show up at this? First of all, some of them were part of the planning. All of them had their lives threatened just as equally as Democrats. Can they, with a straight face, those people who then voted to not say that Donald Trump was the president and that Joe Biden was the legitimately elected president, all those votes, remember, can they show up at this? And the answer is they have themselves a perfect out. Are you ready?
Ready.
This is unbelievable. I heard this yesterday and I said, oh my God, how dare they do it? Johnny Isaacson, who is the senator in Georgia who died, thus creating the opening that was filled by Raphael Warnock, right? He's that senator now in that space. There is some kind of memorial service for him on the same day, Thursday. And apparently every Republican is going to have to go to Georgia.
We love Johnny Isaacson so much. We have to.
Right. Wait. So they can use the "we're out of town" excuse. We wanted to be there, of course, but doggone it, we all love Johnny.
I want to see the Jim Jordans and all of the assholes that have been defending Donald Trump. I want to see them down at Mar-a-Lago with him. That's what I want. If you're all in on this thing, fly your ass down to Palm Beach, stand next to him at his stupid conference.
Yeah, that's a good point, because if you really want to show you're all in, you do what you just said.
Exactly.
If you want to completely fake it, you go to the Johnny Isaacson Memorial thing.
Even better yet, you could say you were going to the Johnny Isaacson Memorial, but Joe Biden fucked up the airline so much I couldn't make it. My flight got canceled. I wanted to go to it, so I couldn't go to either one. Thanks, Brandon.
No, you got stuck on I-95 between Richmond and Washington going south. You got stuck.
Oh, that's
we're like a full Seinfeld episode. We circled all the way back around to the first idea. Yeah.
And I won't even get into how is Betty White dead and Donald Trump is still alive. I won't even get into it.
That one's too stupid to mention because it just goes without saying. It's just a fact.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.